Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranata Klesha Nashaye Govindaye Namo Namaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiyamamritat. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to today's Yoga Vashistha Satsang. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody joining us. Hope you enjoyed your holiday, your time with family and friends. While all the time giving thanks to God for all His immense blessings upon each of us. Our humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to our worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj, to all sages and saints, to all scriptures, and to the divinity in every one of you. We are all blessed, immensely blessed, to be enjoying the glory of satsang together. Satsang meaning association of truth. Sat ka sang, satsang. So with that divine blessing, divine feeling, let us live in gratitude, live in thankfulness. Every day, not just Thanksgiving Day, but every day. Treat everybody like an extension of your own very self, your family. Look at everybody with love, kindness, compassion. These are the virtues that help us on this holy path of spirituality. With this glory, you will feel yourself expand. You will feel happiness, peace, joy. And with that purity, as we are touching Mother Earth, how she keeps us safe from everything, so many problems in this world, and yet we are protected. So we thank Mother Earth, we thank the water, the fire, the air, the ether to make our life holistic, pure, and blessings in abundance for us from so many angles. With these blessings, we have more than enough. Let us share with everybody. Give it to the others who are not so fortunate, who may be experiencing pain, hunger, unemployment, so many problems. So may God give us compassion and may God solve everybody's problems. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. May all be happy, may all be disease-free, may all see the good in things, and may no one suffer. That is the essence of this prayer. So we pray for the world, we pray for the people, and we pray for all of you, dedicated souls who have taken your life and given it to God and given it to spirituality. And you know the importance of this. So may the Lord, may these energies guide you, protect you, keep you healthy and strong so you can continue on this mission. And when tests arrive, as they must, tests are part of our check how we are progressing on the spiritual path. So when they arrive, we should be strong, prepared, and ready. In a storm, little trees with weak roots are shaken out, but the strong ones with deep roots rejoice, their wind, their branches dance with joy. Such should be the strength we have. Internal strength, not about building muscles, not about our physical body, but inward strength. So with that prayer for the world, may this be a better place. May we enjoy the blessings that God has provided. Countless blessings in this human world, but we are too busy to notice. We are too frustrated to observe. But when we take the time and we smell a flower, look at a bee fluttering its wings, everything around you is a miracle of consciousness, a miracle of God. So with that prayer, let us read our worshipful Swamiji's message, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji's message for today. Blessed self, adorations. Be a spiritual hero. Fight the battle of life and attain the victory in the form of self-realization. What a beautiful message. Meaning, life is a battle. Don't expect things to be easy, but you have within you the power to overcome all adversities and emerge victorious. And this battle that we are fighting for self-realization, mukti, liberation, perpetual union with God, no coming back, no rebirth, meaning we should be ready to make this the central focus of our life, our mission. And for that, we have to continue to be strong and continue to fight. That doesn't mean we will not face obstacles or we will not go through difficult times. All those will make us strong. Just like you go to the gym to build your muscles. What do you do there? You pick up weights. And as you gain more and more strength, you pick up more and more weights. Then you build muscles. You gain strength. Much in the same way, on this spiritual path, we will be faced with challenging circumstances that will test our anger, our greed, lust, passion, jealousy. All of these vices will continue to hiss at us, trying to see how far we have come. And this is, many people succumb. So we will rise and fall. But as long as we are continuing on the journey and we learn from our mistakes, we will continue to evolve. You may lose the battle, but remember, you have to win the war. And winning the war is liberation, mukti. So don't ever say, I am weak, I can't do it, I fall prey to my senses. All that can happen here and there, but inwardly, you are not a lamb, you are a lion, but you have forgotten that. So therefore, always respect yourself. All this is possible. You can climb the mountains of wisdom, scaling majestic heights. See, when you are determined, then you will accomplish big things also. You can fathom the depths of divine feelings, communing with all living beings through the heart of cosmic love that belongs to Christ, Rama, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, all divine personalities. That heart also is beating inside of you. You have that heart. So commune with everybody. Look at everybody as an extension of your very self. That is what the energy, the essence of self-realization truly is. You can possess indomitable will and surmount all obstacles. So your willpower will continue to grow. But you have to put in the effort and you have to be in good company. The minute you go in bad company, your tapasya, your sacrifice, your progress can be ruined very quickly, depending on what kind of bad company. Intoxication, liquor, cards, parties, all these things give freedom to the senses and they lose control for the undisciplined aspirants. They can easily fall, slip. So therefore, it is called the path of self-effort. You are your own examiner. Nobody is going to tell you what to do, what not to do. That has to come from within your own heart, through your own knowledge, through your own self-effort, and the blessings of your Guru, the grace of your Guru, the grace of the scriptures, the grace of God, the grace of all the souls who are departed, your parents. Everybody is wanting you to succeed on this holy mission. But mainly it's you, because it's your soul, it's your journey. And it has to be the journey of humility, compassion, love, and falling and getting up again. Not giving up. Know that you can do it. With strong will and determination, many obstacles can be overcome. And then God helps those who help themselves. Practice a harmonious blend of meditation, prayers, reflection, and dedicated action. So blend your life with daily spiritual things that will give you buoyancy, that will give you a certain joy. And through meditation, your consciousness expands. So when we are meditating, when we are going within, we are consciously making an effort to see the light within. And that process is a very quick way for us to grow spiritually. Prayer, of course, prayer is our emotion in words, isn't it? Whatever we are feeling, going through, and we share with God, we ask of Him. Why do we ask of Him? Because just like a child asks his parents for things, he's not earning yet, he doesn't have everything. So he runs to his parents, he wants something, then his parents, if it's good for him, they get him. If it's not good, they will not. Much in the same way, if something is good for us, God fulfills our prayers. And if it's not good for us, He will not give it to us. We should not be frustrated why our prayers are not answered. Many prayers that are not answered are the biggest blessings, except you don't know it right now. what kind of a problem you would have gotten into if that prayer was answered. So, but God is always having your best interest at heart. Remember, reflection is very important. Otherwise, satsanga means nothing. You just listen from one ear, it goes out the other, and we keep doing it week after week. But when you listen to these profound teachings from our scriptures, from the wise sages, from the enlightened personalities, then our heart starts to resonate at that frequency. We start to understand all the obstacles that they have gone through to give us this prasad, this nectar. And therefore, we reflect on the teachings. And when we start reflecting, that is a good, very high stage. That is the first sign of a serious disciple. Otherwise, you just listen and then something else is going on, or you're doing other things, trying to multitask, and this is also going on. It's an early stage. Better than not doing it at all, mind you, but not as good as you sitting in your prayer place, turning off your cell phones and every distraction, and just focusing on the nectar of the words of wisdom from these divine masters. And when we do that, that's when we start to reflect, because God has given us the same mind, the intellect, the brain, through which we can process this. And then dedicated action, Swamiji says. Because unless we take action, all this only becomes a theoretical concept. It will not be enough to give us liberation, not be enough to give us evolution or progress. Why is that? Because in looking at a picture of food cannot fill your stomach, isn't it? You have to eat that food. When you are hungry, a picture, no matter how pretty, how delicious articles may be in it, it cannot work for you. So we need real food. Therefore, when we come to this satsanga, we enjoy the real food provided by sages and saints, the real process of the food. But we have to cook it. Somebody can give you a recipe, but you have to actually make it happen. So with this, Swamiji's blessings, may God bless you. Thine, Swami Jyotirmayananda. So these are Gurudev's profound blessings to all of us. And we are ever so grateful to him. Let us all pray a great thanks to give for his physical presence in this world, in this crazy world where there are so many wars, selfishness, other kind of problems. Everybody is running in ignorance. We have an illumined, enlightened personality, and many like him who have walked this path, and they are illumining the way for all of us. So glory to our Guru, glory to these sages and saints who have given up every fiber of their being to help all of us for our sake. So we should pray for their long and healthy life, for the ones who are here in physical form. So our Guruji will be 92 in February 3rd of 2023 of next year. He's 91 plus right now. So every day we seek his blessings and pray, and it's a blessing to have such wonderful teachings from such divine masters. So all we aspire is to be the dust particle of his holy lotus feet. If we can be that, that is the highest accomplishment. In humility is everything, because when you can become that dust particle, you are connected to the Guru, you are part of him, just like the drop of the ocean of Amrita. Amrita, nectar. So one drop of nectar or the ocean of nectar, same qualities. You drink one drop, you also become immortal. You drink the whole ocean, you still remain immortal. So this path is the one of humility, humbleness, and calmness, happiness, joy, but in a humble way. This is not the path of name, fame, glory, money, and lots of material things. This is not that path. They may come, they have to come to all of you, and you will be better. But the key is to not be attached to any of those things. Those are all like passing phases. This is the essence. So with this, let us chant our Kirtan, and then we will start our Yoga Vasistha Satsang. Hari Om. Jaya Ganesh, Jaya Ganesh, Jaya Ganesh, Pahi Mam, Shri Ganesh, Shri Ganesh, Shri Ganesh, Rakshamam, Sharavana Bhava, Sharavana Bhava, Sharavana Bhava, Pahi Mam, Kartikeya, 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 Rakshamam, Jaya Saraswati, Jaya Saraswati, Jaya Saraswati, Pahi Mam, Shri Saraswati, Shri Saraswati, Shri Saraswati, Rakshamam. Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram Jagat Guru Param Guru Sat Guru Sham Adi Guru Advaita Guru Anand Guru Om Chid Guru Chid Ghana Guru Chinmaya Guru Om Jagat Guru Om Guru Satchitananda Shankaracharya Shivananda Jyotirmaya Nanda Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Shiva 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 Shivaya Namah Om Hare 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 Namah Shivaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Anjaneya 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 Pahi Mam Hanumanta 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 Raksha Mam Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Pahi Mam Brahma Shakti Vishnu Shakti Shiva Shakti Raksha Mam Adi Shakti Mahashakti Parashakti Pahi Mam Ichha Shakti Kriya Shakti Jnana Shakti Raksha Mam Gangarani 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 Pahi Mam Bhagirati 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 Raksha Mam Hari Om Hari Om Hari 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 Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Hari Om Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti 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 Om. So let us continue our holy scripture, Yoga Vasistha. We are currently on the last section of the Yoga Vasistha called Nirvana Prakarana. Nirvana meaning liberation, mukti. And we are currently, today we will be studying section number 101. And last Friday, we had covered animals, birds, and countless beings striving for happiness and characteristics of enlightened sages. So the topic is very profound because after all, what will happen after we are enlightened beings? And that is the journey that Sage Vasistha is taking us on. He says, today's section is the vision of non-duality bestows fearlessness. What is non-duality? Non-duality means no multiplicity. Multiplicity is 7-8 billion people in the world now. It has recently grown. Every one of us looks the same, breathes the same air, is born the same way and dies the same way, and yet each of us think we are different from the other one. That creates multiplicity, whereas non-duality meaning only one. Vedanta says Advait. Dvait means two, Advait means no two, just one. Therefore, Vedanta says this world is like a dream. In our dream, we create a fictitious world only to open our eyes and find nothing was there. Much in the same way, the Vedanta process is about non-duality. And when you are established in non-duality, then we become fearless. What is fear? Because we are always afraid. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope we don't get into an accident. I hope things always work out good. We are always in a mode of fear. But if you are enlightened, Sri Vashistha said, "O Rama, the pure self alone exists." So that is the only one, Sat, truth. Everything else is a photocopy, an image, a reflection. So it is the pure self that assumes the different forms and conditions of the world self. Birth, death, fear, sorrow, pleasure, and pain are different manifestations of the same self. Atma. Self meaning Atma, consciousness, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that is beyond the perception of our limited senses. Our senses cannot catch it. So, but when we are giving birth, when we die, when we are afraid of something, when we are in a sad mood or pleasure and pain, none of these things are, although these are external manifestations, but they're all coming through the self itself. When you realize that self is beyond the seer and the sight, you become free of the causes of pain, sorrow, and suffering. So that's an advanced stage. Most people don't reach that stage because they're always blaming the circumstances, the conditions, or the difficulty that has come, not seeing it as a manifestation of the self. But it is called Triputi, seer, seen, and the interacting experience. We see something, so there has to be an object, a subject, and the interaction. And that is what is beyond, going beyond that, seeing and seer and sight. But most people are caught between the seer, seen, and sight. Therefore, we experience pain, sorrow, and so on. In this divine vision of non-duality of the self, there is no room for the development of raga dvesha. So this is important, that raga dvesha, raga attachment, dvesha hatred. So as we try to improve our perception and the vision of self, which we want to all experience, see, and enjoy that bliss. But in order to do that, we have to first understand that we cannot give room to raga dvesha, or attachments of hatred and attachment and hatred. Devoid of the impressions of this, impressions of attachment and hatred, which stick to us and keep us in the world process, we cannot experience suffering in the world once we learn the art of getting outside, devoid of this impression. So when you sleep, what happens? You forget about all the attachment you have with something or the hatred you have with something. You set aside all your worries, and in the sleep, your body is calm and relaxed. But yet, dream emerges. In the dream, you have entered another world altogether. So, waking, dream, deep sleep, waking, dream, deep sleep, or different combinations thereof is what keeps us in the world process. And we enjoy deep sleep the most because that's when you heal and you are in bliss. All other times, we are either in the physical world or in the dream world. So we don't get relaxed enough in those two worlds. So those things are like the poison fangs of a snake, attachment and hatred. So the minute you learn how to remove attachment and hatred, the poison fangs of that snake, now there is no fear. That snake is now your friend, your pet. You may even earn money from it by putting it in other people's necks and let them enjoy it. But while he has the fangs, it's a very real problem. You will not approach him. So therefore, for sages and saints, they have removed the fangs of raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred, and therefore the world becomes delightful for a sage. Think about that. That is why it's not that external problems suddenly vanish or they don't exist for him. It's just that the outlook towards all this Maya has changed. There is neither the desirable nor undesirable in this world, because all this is essentially one's most innermost self, the absolute or Atman. So sages and saints don't get stuck in this. They don't only want comfortable things. Whatever comes their way, they are happy and merry. They understand all this is a cosmic plan, a vision, but none of it is permanent. It keeps on changing every minute. In other words, they don't get attached to the world process. So this absolute self, why? Because this Atma or the self or the consciousness, whatever we like to call it, is such a mystic thing. It's so mysterious that the eyes cannot see it, the ears cannot hear it, the nose cannot smell it, the tongue cannot taste it, and the skin cannot touch it. So none of the five senses can do, each of their functions fail in front of that spirit, that Atma. And yet it is that Atma that can give commands for your eyes to see, for the nose to hear. So each sense only works one at a time. Eyes can see, but they can't hear. They can't touch, they can't feel, but they can see. Ears can only hear. So this unique entity doesn't have any form. It doesn't have any shape, although it's capable of taking any shape and any form that it may so choose. That is why so many Devi Devtas, so many religions, so many different names and forms. No problem, no controversy there. Omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So therefore, that energy we call the Atma, is also inside every one of us. So what does our body then become? It becomes a temple, isn't it? You have installed God inside your own heart, and wherever there is God, that place becomes sanctified. It becomes a temple. And that is the essence. So this self is different from the knower and the known. It's beyond our limited human capacity to analyze God with these instruments. But these are important tools. Through your instruments, a programmer can write a program on the computer, or a blacksmith can make a weapon out of iron, or a potter can make different pots from the mud, because they have the instruments and the talent. Much in the same way, we, all of us aspirants, sadhaks, with our effort and the instruments of our body, mind, intellect, ego, and our self-effort, we can create the tools that will give us the self, that will take us to the self. And eventually it is God's grace, but through our self-effort of putting all these things. So it is the serene light of the self that becomes refracted into the knower and the known through the prism of the mind. See, this is what we have to understand. Everything that is happening, that is giving us joy and giving us energy to move and talk and all that, or sleep and work, is all coming through that Atma or self, or that consciousness. Because the minute that decides to jump out of us, we cannot function and we are declared dead. We all know that. But yet we kind of know it at a superficial level, and we don't even want to think about it. Thinking about death, most people try to avoid that topic. They think it's a very gory, difficult topic, and they want to live forever. But yet, there is no such thing as death. You can only call it a dirgha swapna. In Sanatana Dharma, we call it delayed dream. Just like in your daily dream, you get a small dose of your dream, you wake up, and then in a few days you forget about it. Then you get another one. Much in the same way, our soul keeps on discarding old bodies and picking up new ones, the ones it enjoys, the one it relishes. Just like you do when your clothes go out of fashion, or when you don't like something, you give it away or get another one. Much in the same way, this is actually a great act of compassion and kindness, to give the soul another opportunity to start from another body. Therefore, when we say we are all so blessed to have this human body, and in this human body to have the ability to sit in satsang, learn spirituality, learn the connection between Atma and Paramatma, or our spirit and God, is not a small achievement. Over millions of lives, you have achieved this merit, that you are now entitled to go deeper and deeper, and through the sanction of God. Otherwise, that energy will just guide us gently. Each soul is evolving at his own level of understanding and plane. And that is very important to understand at a deeper level. So here Vashistha Muni is guiding all of us. He says, no one dies, no one is born. Seems very contradictory. We see death everywhere, we see birth, hospitals are full of all this. So the ocean of consciousness alone exists, is what sages and saints would say. Ocean of consciousness, the consciousness, Atma, is a full ocean. It's not one or two little waves here and there. So the waves will rise and fall without disturbing the fullness of the ocean, isn't it? Inside the ocean, are there any waves? No, it's totally calm. But externally, on the edges, there is a lot of agitation, frolic, big waves, small waves, eddies, pools, white water. Even the color of the water changes according to the waves. So all that is illusory. In reality, the ocean, it makes no difference. But yet the waves come out of that very ocean. Much in the same way, the Atma within you is like that ocean, calm and relaxed. But then through your ego, intellect, mind, senses, body, likes, dislikes, attachment, hatred, we create so many waves. Every wave being a different like and dislike and a different relative and this and that. But in reality, all these waves go back into Brahman, that ocean of consciousness. So the drama of life will continue. So from that angle, Vashistha ji is saying, no one dies, no one is born. Think about it. When the wave is born and it's coming up, another one is being born and coming up behind him. And then when both the waves are gone and they have, who died and who was born? Did anything change in the ocean? Should the ocean cry? One of my waves came out and now it's going towards extinction. See? Much in the same way, everything in the cosmic plan, in the cosmos is like that. So the dark veil of night is gradually lifted as the sun rises. Dark veil of night. We all know it's our daily experience. At night time, everything gets dark, the sun is not visible. And then the morning comes again, full of birds chirping, sun, light. So too, with the rising of wisdom, the world is gradually dissolved into Brahman. So much in the same way, when we are dedicated, we are willing to view this drama of life with introspective eyes. We look at it with dispassion. We understand how the show is working. There is no reason to grieve at the idea of encountering death. Most people grieve, but based on this experience, the sages of sages, enlightened Yoga Vashistha Muni, and so many others give us this assurance that there is no reason to grieve. So many of us are afraid of things happening that never actually happen. It's called fear of the unknown. But we have encountered many such challenges in the past and we turned out okay. This also is a phony fear, a reflection that really should not be worried about. Since the self cannot be destroyed, you see, we cannot cut it, we cannot wet it, we cannot dry it, we cannot burn it. It is everlasting. So we cannot destroy the self. Just because the body is what? Simply these 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, nothing else. So when this body gets destroyed, nothing else has happened. The phenomenon of death will bring about the renewal in the physical residence of the soul. In other words, the soul is now ready to move on into another house. Do we cry when we move from one house to another? We are more excited. We are happier. We are making all these plans that I would do this, my garden would be here, my new room would look like this, and you are full of joy. Much in the same way, the departure of an existing body is getting ready for a new physical residence for the soul. With this understanding, that should be considered a festive occasion, not a pathetic event. Think about it. What a profound statement by Sage Vasistha, based on very deep analysis and deep experience that actually this world is full of God's activities. His plan is full of love and compassion. And this is also a very important lesson for all of you, because when you see death around you, or some friend passes away, or some relative, or one day we will also, that don't be in so much grief. Give this knowledge and share this joy with others also. It's okay when people cry. There are different occasions and we can cry, but cry tears of sincerity and love. Don't cry tears of attachment and grief. There are two kinds of tears: cold tears and hot tears. See, so when you're crying tears of grief, agitation, frustration, like somebody stole our stuff, so we are very angry now and tears come out, that is due to anger and frustration, and we are very upset. Those tears come from our inner depths, and then they are hot in nature. So, but when we cry tears of gratitude, our love, like when we see our Guru and we fall prostrate at his feet and see how he guided us through so many things, or we see our long missed friend after 20-30 years, we have a certain joy within. All these different occasions, those tears are tears of love and tears of gratitude and tears of compassion to have been given that opportunity, that ability to understand. And so much in the same way, when a loved one passes away, we should pray for them. We should do Triambakam mantra. And Triambakam mantra is very powerful. It wards off death also. So when we drive, whenever we are driving our car, or whenever we are praying for somebody, we should always do Triambakam mantra. That is why we always do it in every satsang. And also it is a great Lord Shiva mantra that gives us liberation. So we can pray for the departed soul, but crying just tears and not knowing and feeling like this, we are abandoned, is the sign of an immature aspirant, somebody who doesn't understand how this whole process of life and this dimension of spirituality works. They are the ones. But for souls that are highly evolved, they don't cry tears of sorrow. They simply may shed tears of gratitude and love and respect for the departed soul, but then they pray for the departed soul. So this is not a pathetic event. The soul has moved on into bigger, better things. So rejoice. Rejoice, O dull-witted ones. What more can the sage say? He says, death is going to present new apparels and destroy the tattered garments of the soul. And what beautiful assurance we have in the Bhagavad Gita also, where Lord Krishna says, every step, every effort you are making on this holy journey, you will start from where you left off. You don't have to go back and restart. Remember, the soul, the journey of the soul is a progressive movement. It happens in a cyclical, progressive manner. We don't have to go backwards after we die. We will start from where we left off. What a beautiful assurance. So if we keep making more and more progress, then that means our journey towards liberation is that much closer. And if we are very sincere, very lucky, very blessed from many embodiments of the past, plus your own effort in this life and the grace and blessings of the Guru. You may even get it in this very life, enlightenment, which means no more coming back, no more new body, no more, because after all, whether we are getting a new body, which is a great sign according to Sage Vasistha here, it's clearly progressive, but liberation means no coming back. You are always in that state of joy, bliss, and perpetual happiness. Whereas in every embodiment, we do have to face the challenges of karma. Whatever will happen through our experiences of birth, death, old age, and disease, that will happen even in the new embodiment, but we get a brand new start. That's why nature looks at us with pathetic eyes, lovingly. Oh soul, where are you lost? You have this opportunity now. Many of us know it also, but yet the powers of illusion, Maya, is so strong that it overtakes our very good intentions and we get lost. And so therefore, no matter what we do, how we do, what progress we make, every step in this direction is one step more towards your destination of liberation. Otherwise, if you're taking reverse steps, instead of going north, you're going south, then you have to take a U-turn and come back. Otherwise, so every act that we do that is not helping us on this journey is minus. It is taking us away. And it's that simple concept, but we have to understand it with open heart. We have to open our heart and then listen. And these teachings are so universal. It's unfortunate that so many people are closed-hearted. They are taught of only a certain ritual or a certain process or a certain way where they will not listen to anything outside their very small center of knowledge. So therefore, the harm is done, and over other embodiments in nature will continue to work. It doesn't mind. It has no anger just because somebody is an atheist and doesn't believe in God and doesn't believe in these things. Nature continues to smile on that soul beautifully, giving him sun rays, giving him the water, giving him the light, giving him life and death, giving him everything just like others. But the karma, the actions that he's going through, is his to bear. It's too late for them to say, sorry, I didn't know. Ignorance of law is no excuse. In any country, you go, you say, I didn't know. The judge will say, oh, well, this is the law. So therefore, please pay or go to jail. Much in the same way, the divine plan also works. For that reason, you have scriptures, you have sages, you have saints, you have your own conscience also, because you already know what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is ethical, what is unethical. So once you have decided, that becomes the holy path. So then Vashistha Muni argues for the non-believers. He says, if you say that death is going to destroy you completely and there is no rebirth, now there are so many religions who say there is no rebirth, we don't believe in reincarnation. Okay, fine, nothing against anybody, but that is the belief that they are in. And so here Vashistha Muni is talking to those people. Suppose you say that it is going to destroy you completely and that you will not be born anymore. Then also you must rejoice. He says, why? Because all this feverish struggle of life will eventually end. Is this life anything? Such little happiness and so much sorrow, so much pain, sometimes in the body, sometimes in the mind, sometimes to us, sometimes to our loved ones, and sometimes catastrophes thunderstorms, hurricanes, or house collapses. So many things can happen. So what is there to love so much about this life? This actually life, man has been created to know his creator. That in true meanings is the essence of this high spiritual process. But most of us come here and we think it's a festive thing, just enjoy, make merry, and then leave without learning the subtle secrets. So he says, however, do not simply disbelieve rebirth after death. Disbelieve even your present existence. Vashistha Muni is saying, after all, you don't believe in reincarnation, fine, he says. But then has that question occurred to you? Who created you? Why are you here? Who are you anyway? What is your body like? What are these thoughts in your mind and here and there? And why can't you just control death forever? Why can't you keep on living perpetually? So there is an energy that we are dependent on, whether we like it or not. But yet we have our own free will also. This is why spirituality is a topic that needs to be studied in a deep manner through sages and saints. Otherwise, we will create our own concepts and they may be totally wrong, and we may live in a state of frustration, thinking all this is not right or not real or whatever. So he says, however, this is impossible for you to do so, isn't it? Because whether you are a theist or an atheist, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, one thing is for sure, you do believe in yourself. You do love yourself. You don't like when somebody pokes a knife at you and you start bleeding. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that identity with the self, your connection to your own self is evidence enough that you love yourself. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. For the sake of the self, all is loved. You cannot even imagine your non-existence, can you? That is why nobody wants to die. So they think, oh, we'll go somewhere. But Vedanta, Sanatan Dharma tells you, reassures you, my friend, you are not going anywhere. You, along with your karma, along with your actions, will continue the journey till you achieve your union with God, ending in liberation, mukti, which means just like a river that merges into the ocean of supreme consciousness. So that is the satsang, that is the essence that these sages are giving us. You are essentially the self. So, hum sab ek atma hai. We are the self. That's it. Beyond that, all these additions that we have accumulated, in addition to the self, is our ego, our intellect, our mind, the senses, the body, the different organs in the body, and then we further keep on expanding it with our kids, with our family, with our husband, with our spouses, parents, friends, co-workers, social life, this, that. So we keep on increasing these dimensions, but it starts from your very Atman or self. So this idea that you are this physical body is an expression of illusion. And that is why in every satsang, we at least touch upon this topic, ki hum ye sharir nahi hain, we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not this no doubt we use these to our benefit. We use these things. So therefore, we do need a good body. When we say we are not the body, doesn't mean we throw it away. It means your body is like your car. You need it, and then you don't need it. When you come inside your house, do you need your car inside your house? No, you just need to drive it in your driveway or in your garage, and then you are done. Much in the same way, when you sleep, do you remember your body when you sleep? No, it's lost, gone. And then when you wake up, you pick it back up again. You don't touch all your body parts to see, are my fingers working? Are my toes working? Am I okay? You are okay. But when something happens to the car, something happens to the body, then that has to be addressed, because we cannot drive a bad car. It will be scary. It may break down in our journey, on our journey. And much in the same way, when we have a body that needs attention, we have to do our duty to give it, to keep it fit. But you are not that body. That's the essence, which is what these sages are guiding us also. So if you are afraid of negative conditions you may encounter after death, why not be afraid of those conditions even while you are alive? It's a beautiful thought. Otherwise, this is what we call heaven and hell. Naraka, Swarga, hell meaning you have done a lot of bad things, heaven meaning you have done a lot of good things. So he says, start now. In this world also you can create a heaven and hell. We have created so many hells. Everywhere there is war going on, this, that, and treating the environment in such a bad way, where now the rivers are shrinking and so many other glaciers are now, global warming is heating them up faster. So many problems because we have treated them in a very selfish way. We didn't look at it in a holistic spiritual manner. So do not perform sinful deeds that cause negative conditions, whether in this life or in the life to come. Therefore, in all religions of the world, sin is looked down upon and virtue and pure acts, good acts are encouraged, because otherwise we face these consequences of the reaction from the cosmic law. And there is no excuse there. Once we have broken the law, we have to correct it, rectify it, pay for it. So instead of entertaining the negative thoughts, I am going to die, alas, I am dying, I am nearly dead, entertain positive thoughts lit with the light of reason and understanding. So when reason and understanding comes in, then all this becomes like a show. Assert, I am pure consciousness. I am the Atma. I am the deathless self. There is no death in the self. There is no such thing as life and death and I'm now gone. Atma is perpetual. So assert, I am pure consciousness. I am the deathless self. There is no such thing as a termination of the self. It is perpetual. So I abide in the absolute self. Remind yourself, I am infinity and eternity. By changing your angle of vision, you will overcome all forms of grief as well as the fear of death. This is a very profound teaching, because most people avoid this subject or don't want to talk about it or are not prepared for it. So what mercy of these sages and saints to guide us properly on this most difficult phase of our life, which is mostly again due to our perceived thought processes, due to our perceived actions. हम भय अपने अंदर भय बिठा के बैठे हैं और उसी से भयभीत हो रहे हैं. वास्तव में भय वो कुछ नहीं है. There is no such thing, just like a little child is afraid of thinking there's a ghost in his closet because it's dark. He's afraid and he says, Mom, something is in there. Mom comes with a torchlight, she opens it, she shows, where is it? And there's just there's nothing. Then the child is reassured. Much in the same way, we have to continue to keep reminding ourselves that there is no such thing. Therefore, give up this ideal notion that there is this fear of death or what will happen to me. Nothing. Only good things can happen, assuming you have done good things. If you are a spiritual person, by the mere fact of you listening to this satsang is very clear that you have many, many merits to be listening to Yoga Vashistha, which is such a pure, such a elevated scripture. Most people don't even know about it. So, and you have done many, many good acts in addition, that you are continuing to know what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, and ethical, unethical, and then you are leading a pure life. So therefore, there is no reason to worry. But yes, anyone can slip, and this also, to keep us firm on this path, is the grace of God. जब भगवान की कृपा होती है, ईश्वर कृपा, तभी हम इस मार्ग पर दृढ़ता पूर्वक चल सकते हैं. We can walk on it firmly. Otherwise, one slip and we come tumbling down and we lose a lot of ground. So therefore, our effort should be to make every effort to not slip on this path. Therefore, very important to keep good company and to keep good discipline so we can follow our practice. A sage performs various deeds and discards sinful deeds by the mere fact of possessing a highly purified mind. Because these sages and saints, and we are also in the process, you all are, who are sincerely working on this path, you are slowly, gradually purifying yourself every day. It's getting a little bit better. But you are the judge. You should know if your anger is getting a little more under control, the greed, the passions, the worldly attachments. If they're slowly fading away, that means you're progressing. There is no other teacher you need to go to. You are your best teacher. Although if you are fortunate enough to have a guru, then it's perfectly fine to share your thoughts and expressions and ask questions, clarify. All that is perfectly encouraged. But inwardly, your own Atma, your own consciousness is guiding you very beautifully. So when you have that, we have to understand that may we stick with it. May that never fall. So this is what they guide us. He abides in the fearless state of pure consciousness. So if you can abide in that state, then glory to your guru, glory to your God, glory to you also, your own effort, because you could have had a million other things to do and you chose this path of liberation. And that's the path that really takes us away from the darkness into the light. Asato ma Satgamaya. When confronted with life's adverse developments occasioned by the fructification of past karmas, a sage is not inwardly shaken. So just because a sage has attained enlightenment doesn't mean now that he has become superhuman, that he can materialize and dematerialize himself anywhere. No, he's very much human. He will sneeze, he may catch a flu, he may die, he may get old age, he may still have certain behavioral patterns that he is used to, but enlightenment nevertheless is there, which means that he is not inwardly shaken. See, being enlightened is not an external development. It's not that you will look a certain way or your body will change. No, all that will be the same, but inwardly you will be not shaken. You can handle anything, and then you have become a Jivan Mukta, which means no more. The major focus for this liberation is to forever merge into cosmic consciousness, which means going back to the source, going back to where we came from. And if we have done that properly, then we have achieved our goal. He withdraws himself into the all-transcending silence of the self and allows the violent waves of the world process to roll on without causing any injury to him. So this is what sages and saints do when they are in an atmosphere that is very uncomfortable or adversity is there, this, that. They go into that own sadhana, into that spot that belongs to them where nothing else can matter. Like the deep, they know where the depth of the ocean is. So they don't stay in the waves. Although at the external level, the waves are continuing, internally, he is connected with that ocean, you see. So he draws himself into the invulnerable cave of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where no thoughts arise, no agitation is there. So even though there may be lots of external problems, inwardly he is ever the same. So that is the highest state of mukti, liberation, and that is not an easy state to achieve. It comes after intense effort. So nirvikalpa samadhi it's called, which means that there is no vikalpa, even no thoughts at that time, and is unaffected by the raging storms of adversities. Such is the personal experience of Vashistha Muni and all these enlightened sages and saints. A sage considers birth, death, and all worldly developments as worthless and insignificant as straw. Think about that for a minute. Most people, for them, birth and death are the most significant events of life, and whatever worldly developments that they go through, a promotion, this, a marriage, all that has profound implications. For the saints, though, it's as insignificant as a straw. They enjoy it. They will smile, they will bless, they will go through all that, but inwardly they know it's all a show. It's like you watching a movie. In a movie, you are crying, you are laughing, you are happy, you are sad, but soon the movie ends and you are driving home again and discussing something else, and that event is over. Much in the same way, the sages and saints look at all these as simply passing phenomenons, nothing more than a straw. Devoid of subtle desires and in possession of supreme knowledge, he wanders like one ignorant of his great achievement. So even though they have achieved the almost impossible, because there are such few people who can break this illusion of Maya, they have actually done it, and yet they are humble like little kids. They'll play with kids, and yet they can give profound lectures to the highest intellectual people also. To them, it makes no difference. They all look at this as Maya. In all conditions, he is ever immutable and fearless, because he's not this passing personality. That is the main thing. He understands he is at the soul level. He is the absolute self, or the Atman. So with this, we have completed section 101. And section 102, we will discuss this coming Friday. And it is characteristics of a sage. How does a sage behave? And so we keep discussing these things over and over again in different ways, different forms. So this becomes part of our DNA. We become so used to it that we can easily remember when adversity strikes, that how would sages react? And we are no less than trying to be the role model. And these sages are our role model, but we also are walking on that path. So every action that helps us, we should use for our advantage. With this, we conclude our satsang for today. Om Tat Sat, and we will start section 102 this coming Friday. Hari Om. If anybody has any questions, Aaron, I know you're on Zoom, so if you have any question, you can ask. And if anybody on Facebook wants to ask, you can ask. If not, then my blessings to all of you. God bless you. And if you want to ask me separately through Messenger, please feel free to do so. If you don't want to ask in a common platform here, that's perfectly fine. But the main thing is that we implement what we can, even a little bit, even 1% will create great progress for all of us. So with this, we conclude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So let's do our Aarti together, so we can get the blessings of Swami Shivananda, Swami Jyotirmayananda, and all the enlightened sages and saints, because to them there is nothing more joyful then people taking their scriptures and then trying to learn from them. It's like Shastra Kripa. We are giving back the due respect to them. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. So let's do our Aarti. जय जय आरती विघ्न विनायक श्री गणेशा। जय जय आरती सुब्रमण्य कार्तिकेया। जय जय आरती वेणुगोपाला वेणुलोला पाप विदुरा नवनीत चोरा। जय जय आरती वेंकटरमणा संकट हरणा सीतारामा राधे श्यामा। जय जय आरती गौरी मनोहर भवानी शंकर सांबा सदा शिव उमा महेश्वर। जय जय आरती राजराजेश्वरी त्रिपुर सुंदरी महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाशक्ति। जय जय आरती आंजनेया हनुमंता। जय जय आरती दत्तात्रेया त्रिमूर्ति अवतारा। जय जय आरती शैनेश्वराया भास्कराया। जय जय आरती सद्गुरुनाथा शिवानंदा। सद्गुरुनाथा ज्योतिर्मयानंदा। सद्गुरुनाथा सर्वानंदा। जय जय आरती विघ्न विनायक। न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा पराधं विहितं वा सर्वमेतत्क्षमस्व। जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शंभो। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम ब्रह्मर्पणं ब्रह्महवि ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिनः। अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राण अपान समायुक्ता पचामन्यं चतुर्विधं। हरिः ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मर्पणमस्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Hari Om Tat Sat. May you all be happy, healthy, and spiritually dedicated as you always are. We will see you on Sunday morning for Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hari Om Tat Sat.